Now time for the post-match report presented by the American University Athletics Eagles Club. Jeremy Huber here with head wrestling coach Jason Borrelli after a 25-13 win. First off, coach, congratulations, 3 in a row.
Thank you.
I thought today's duel was big when you came out of the gates and got the first 3. We talked about this during the week. The Eagle crowd came out today, so credit to them to have some energy in the building. But to have a match at 1 in the afternoon on a Friday, that's a weird time. But to see Bainey get the win in sudden victory, then Ray Lopez come out and just kind of, as you said, be a hammer, and then to see McIntyre get that comeback victory, it had to feel good to kind of get your guys out of the gate that quick.
Absolutely, and look at the scoreboard, and those close matches in a duel are huge. So, credit to Cohen for staying composed and figuring out how to win in overtime in a tough situation. And then, like you said, Ray's a hammer, and we expect him to go out and be a spark plug, and he was. But I would say, we won another overtime match. Caden Milheim, another freshman, won an overtime match, which was huge. But what maybe people don't realize is the comeback that you mentioned at 141. McIntyre gave up the first takedown, was kind of got ridden out, finished the period on bottom, and then figured out how to come back and win, and that's huge. I mean, you look in a 25-13 match, 2 of those matches go different, and that's a big difference in the swing, right? Give 6, take 6, and that duel is totally different. So really credit to our guys for fighting in some tough positions.
And Lucinski, an upperclassman, kind of, he knew he came out quick, and to see McIntyre come back big. You mentioned the Milheim win. Also good to see Caleb Campos kind of come out in one of his chances out here after kind of taking that last year off, kind of showing some of that dominant form that he showed his freshman year.
Yeah, he has a lot of potential. As much as we think of Ray as a spark plug, Caleb is as well. But he had 2. He opened the season with got beat 17-12 by the Michigan State kid, and then got pinned by the Clarion kid, and so was 0-2. But his last 3 matches since then, he's really looked dominant. He went down to North Carolina and against Duke and Presbyterian, looked really good, and looked good again today. So that's what we know he's capable of. We just got to knock the dust off a little bit, and I think over time he'll start being a real big bright spot for us as well.
Jason, as we see Caleb Campos right there and his great match today, you mentioned dominance. Will Jarrell was dominant as well. He gets a tech fall win, and it's interesting with Jarrell. He didn't wrestle at the 2 down in North Carolina. Went to Navy, had a good showing there. What'd you think about Jarrell's performance in a spot where the match is decided, but he still comes out, wrestles like it's everything to lose or nothing to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the good thing is you kind of want to create in your own mind that scenario every time where there's not pressure, because when there's no pressure and you don't put pressure on yourself, you wrestle really well and you score a lot of points like he did. You flip it, and we have to win that match to win the duel. That starts adding pressure, and you might wrestle a little tighter. And so, the takeaway there is look at how you wrestle and how dominant you are when you feel like there's not a lot of pressure. So how do we create that in your mind, even if that duel came down to that match, that he could walk out there and win the same way in that dominant fashion? And that's a mindset thing you got to work on, and we'll continue to do that.
Jason, last one for you. I believe, I'm not up on my American University calendar, but I believe exams coming up. You guys will get back on the mat afterwards. How do you handle this spot as a coach where these kids have to be so dedicated here to their books at a school like American?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? Academics are a big part, and we just remind the guys that they chose this school for a reason, because they wanted to be excellent in athletics and academics, and they weren't having to sacrifice one for the other. And so as much as, it is a stressful time for them, it's another match, right? It's in the classroom and in the books, and so they need to attack it the same way they're going to attack the next time they walk on the mat. So we'll be smart about how we train and when we train, making sure we give them some adequate time to focus on the school. But it's a good time to remind them that they came here for a reason, because they wanted this, right? So don't look at it as a crutch, right? And to me, AU students are great because they've achieved so much out of high school, and they want this higher education. But reality is that a kid that goes to a state school or University of Iowa or wherever it might be, academics is a struggle for them too, and so they go into exams the same way our guys go into it, like where you're stressed out a little bit and you got to prepare. And so I just always remind the guys that don't use this as a crutch. Push through it and treat it as another opponent, and then we're going to come out, because we come out of the exams and we hit. Next Sunday we wrestle Davidson down in North Carolina, and the guys got to be ready.
Yeah, but then Navy after that, and the Southern Scuffle after that. So, again, a lot of quality opponents coming up, but you guys get some wins today against Buffalo. Jason Borrelli, congratulations on another win.
Thank you.
That'll do it for today's Eagles Club post-match report. Do your part to support the successes of AU Wrestling student-athletes in the classroom and on the mat by joining the Eagles Club.